Hello. This is a Blender tutorial. This is my first tutorial. My name is Eva, and as my first tutorial, I decided to record actually on reflective caustics and refractive caustics because I really haven't found that much information on when to use them and when not to use them, and what's actually the difference. Because yes, clearly when you have reflective and refractive caustics enabled, they take almost double the render time, and naturally you want to save on render time. But what's the benefit of reflective and refractive caustics? So I have this model here. I designed it just for practice purposes, and this is glass material, and the remaining material is just metal, which is also reflective, quite reflective actually, not as glossy as the glass, but still. And in this case, the first time I tried to render this with very high settings, like I think I set the samples to like 10,000, and my resolution was 100% 1920 by 1920, which is like a very high quality render, excuse me. Now you can see that here I already have it enabled, including the diffuse glossy transmission. They're kind of set to high number of bounces. So maybe that's one of the things that actually can improve a lot the end result, the render that you're gonna get. But I think one of the things that actually really make a big difference is the reflective and refractive caustics. So far in my research, I've almost everywhere found that people are like, no, don't tick them, don't enable them, just keep them off as often as you can. And this is what I've tried to be doing so far. But I came across an unpleasant situation that actually wasn't really good. And this is what I mean. So if I can find my folder, here it is. So this is my model, and this is actually the first render. Now you can see it's terrible. Actually, I've tried to use Photoshop to kind of fix these things that look so pixelated. You can actually, I'm pretty sure, see them. And this is on high quality render, so there was something wrong with it. Look at that, it's just terrible. And ignore the glow and everything. It's like post-processing. But you can see that I've tried to actually blur the pixels, and they just look terrible. It's just definitely not an image that I want to put up anywhere. Look at that. That also looks terrible. And I was like, well, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't want that. I want a beautiful model, right? I mean, it should look beautiful, reflective and glossy and everything. And so I googled some more, and actually I decided to check these reflective and refractive caustics and what happens if I render with them. Because I know that they do create noise, but thank God Blender has a denoising setting. So, you can use denoising if you really want to remove fireflies. Although yes, I do agree that reflective caustics and refractive caustics do create fireflies. There is still benefit to use these two settings, and this is actually the result I got after I enabled them. And let's compare them next to one another. So this is the terrible result, and this is a completely different look. First of all, it's so much cleaner. No pixelation, no strange reflection. I literally changed nothing on my scene. Nothing in the camera, nothing with the lighting or the position of the light. You can see that this part even is missing here. It's not as reflective. This is also this part here, and this is missing here. So you can see that actually reflective and refractive caustics do make a change. And I personally am starting to think that whenever you have reflective surfaces like glass or very glossy metal, and you really want a very high quality render, I would say yes, take a little bit of time. I mean, it definitely takes almost double the time to render this image compared to that image. But I personally like this one, especially if you want to put it on a portfolio or maybe sell objects online on CG Trader or websites, or just you want to impress a client. For sure, you definitely want very high quality renders. This is just terrible. I am impressed, I mean, badly impressed that this is like 10,000 samples and it just could not render well. Sorry for that. So this is basically what I wanted to share with you. I really personally will use reflective and refractive caustics a lot more, especially when it comes to reflective surfaces. I actually had this problem here, the pixelation in another render, and I just was very displeased regardless of how many samples I had in my scene and for the render itself. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I really hope it helps. I cannot recommend it more for you to check out reflective and refractive caustics, and as much as it might take more time, sometimes it's worth it. I really recommend it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I hope that was helpful. See you next time.